Where does NRG go from here?
More of the same. I mean, if I'm NRG, I'm not really scared of whatever Rival's going to adjust with, because I like it when NRG plays with that arrogance, not just confidence, arrogance.
Yes.
Because that's when Raffer's at his best. If he's just arrogantly in your on your back harpies, not Frezzy style because he'll live, but just invading, doing his best to frustrate you. And that's what NRG does better than just about anybody.
I'll 100% agree with that. Rival, well, they didn't like the performance out of adapting, so they'll ban out his Circuit. With that in mind, though, there are plenty of more carry selections for the NRG jungle to select. So AMC and Fafnir still the bans out from NRG. So with Rival with the first selection, I don't think we see the Osiris.
I think it's going to be RTO here from Rival. It's open, and it is going to be Osiris. So that gives NRG the opportunity to go for it. If I'm NRG right now, I think I just go straight to RTO and Thor. I give it anytime.
RTO suffers versus Osiris, which is the problem.
Sure, but you can put it to Raffer. It's a Raffer-style god to me. I think Maniac's the one who played it before for NRG, but I think you can put it at either lane. Plus, there's Osiris not necessarily going to Deathwalker. Another guy who's really comfortable on this god, but Ice Baby likes to play these warriors in the jungle. Rival does a good job of setting up for right side pressure whenever they get things like Osiris on the right side. Wouldn't be surprised if it goes to Ice Baby, or could be the Odin for him. He plays that a lot as well.
I want to see the Odin on Ice. You know, as soon as I said I don't expect it to be the Osiris, I kind of thought in the other direction. Deathwalker plays very strong Osiris, and it's one of these things where, you say it's not Osiris as a reflection of the meta, but then you look at these two teams. Osiris, kind of one of those fought-after gods, because a lot of players on these teams kind of really want him.
Oh, yeah.
The Zot's interesting choice, especially next to the RDO. I'm trying to think. RDO has that nice PBAOE stun, but I want some long-range confirm stuff as well, and Camazot's not going to bring that.
No, but it's long-range damage, and a lot of it from the Camazots, as well as has multiple ways to get out of Odin Cage.
I'm good.
Jingwei has that as well, the ability to get out of Odin Cage very easily, as well as make an impact in these team fights. Isis for Wolfie, a god we have not seen at all recently. But you want to talk about a team that wants pressure? Rival across the board. If you want to talk about a team composition that if they don't get ahead early, they're just totally toast. This is that team composition.
This is Team Rival saying, we are going to beat you with your own composition. Now, Soul was taken, so we have to give Wolfie his Isis, and we're going to try something a little bit different in the jungle. But the idea of the Osiris, Sylvanas, Ullr, we're looking for pressure, we're looking for individual prowess. This is Rival saying, we're going to beat you with your own stick, NRG. What's up? And NRG responding by saying, we're going to give Maniac his soul back.
And I like this. I like the Raijin ban for Rival, because that way, or for NRG, so that Rival can't pick it. Raijin brings excellent early clear, Isis level early clear, but much more safety in the mid to late game and even in the early stages. So putting Wolfie on a god that is very vulnerable. This is the entire crux of Rival's team comp in my mind. How effective can Wolfie be on the Isis? Because Isis's upside is insane. I mean, she brings insane CC, insane damage, insane control. But if she dies and falls behind, the damage goes out the window. The control's still there, but really only for objectives. And gods like Camazots just don't care about Circle of Protection at all.
Sure. And the Camazots thing that you bring up is a very, very big deal. I was a little distracted. Was the Giannis banned out?
No, they wanted more pressure than Giannis is going to bring us. ML takes a lot of poke, but here comes Raffer around the back. Voke gets knocked up and expends the Purification Beads. Probably not going to fall quite yet, but having to use beads and a health pot in that scenario, it's tough stuff.
I like the play by Raffer. That's a what's it called? That's a playbook play. Expecting Emilito to get dove on. That's the reason Emilito's that far up. Looks like he's being silly, but then Raffer comes out of the jungle, and hopefully they get a first blood. That's something you draw up, you play in scrims, and then you play in the big show. That was, you know, I like to see teams with attention to detail there. The reason I ask if Giannis was banned out, and again, you bring up pressure. I don't think Wolfie goes Raijin if he's not banned. I think he goes Isis. Wolfie came on the scene as a sort of two-god wonder, and Isis was the second one. And everybody sort of forgot about it, but his Isis is top tier.
It really is.
And when you're put in this position where you need that, like you said, you need all the pressure and everything. And with a must-win game back against the wall, this is where you give your mid laner the second big boss they brought to the Pro League. Yeah, absolutely. I think Wolfie plays its Isis no matter what's banned.
Maybe. I think that it's certainly on the table. It's like we could go Raijin, we could go Isis. How much control do we need? And there isn't a lot of hard CC on Rival's composition. You're really looking at Kalas' knock-up for the ultimate, his root, which isn't really even hard CC, and then Vote's Axe. And that's about it in terms of hard CC. Is Isis found himself in a weird spot, but gets the jump back up in time and hops up over that blue buff. So Isis does bring something that Raijin would not have to this team composition, and that's reliable CC, especially that from a distance.
And I think that's a reliable CC is a huge deal.
Very much so, but that's the only way that he gets to position aggressively and put out that hard CC from a distance is if Rival get a lead.
Sure. I think it's extremely possible. And little bias here. I love watching good Isis play. I think watching Isis played well is some of the best smite you can see at an SPL level. Just a lot of open-ended combos, long-range controls, always fun, and the way you dance in between aggression by juggling your abilities is so impressive. It's really fun to watch. So hopefully Wolfie gets to actually play this Isis, and we really get to see what's at stake here. Uller jumping out of trouble, Vote pretty low, and Maniac just getting 2v1'd here the entire time.
But he's not too worried about this. He went for Phantom in the early game, really making sure that he wasn't going to be stuck by that Odin cage, even on a gank scenario. Even with that Ice Baby sitting over here on the right-hand side, that's going to put Maniac behind because of how many waves he's losing to tower, yes, but the same token, Deathwalker's splitting waves and Maniac isn't. So while it's going to put him behind early, as soon as he starts to be able to clear a little bit more quickly, he'll end up having just about the same amount of gold as Deathwalker.
Exactly, and there's two things to be told here about the Sobek pick for Maniac. First of all, again, talk about comfort picks. Osiris and Sobek are the two gods that allow Maniac to have this sort of root beer tapper, hands everywhere type of play style. He picks it into the Odin, knowing that Lock the Croc is one of the more devastating combinations you've got, or confrontation that you're going to bring to Maniac. So he goes to the Phantom. But being stuck under tower as a Guardian versus a Warrior, the base stats are better for Sobek. He doesn't care if he loses the gold as long as he gets the experience. So, I mean, this is not ideal, but this is more of a, I can deal.
That's what you deal with whenever you have a Guardian in the solo
doesn't
lane.
mind.
No one expects to get pressure when you play a Guardian in the solo lane. And Maniac's played enough Sobek in his time to understand that. Look for him to be the big difference maker in these team fights in diving this Isis to make sure that Wolfie doesn't have a way to get away, because Circle of Protection, again, not bad against Lurking in the Waters. It gives you some damage reduction, and then you can pop up the heal if you survive, and a lot of times,
or if you're on it,
you aren't surviving from Lurking in the Waters. Whenever by the time Maniac comes in, he'll probably have a Void Stone. He's got his boots already done. That Lurking in the Waters full charge, Isis's base health is very low and will almost one-shot her. I mean, it's about 50% at least.
And if it doesn't, well, Yaman in trouble. There's the ring. Both Raffer and Yaman going to be stuck underneath it. Big stun coming out from Raffer, but now he's in trouble. Knock up and confirmed. Wolfie with the first blood thanks to Circle of Protection. Adapting in the sky, looking for damage, not going to be able to find it. And it's just Team Rival on the board. Wolfie starting things hot with the offensive Isis.
That's one thing that Isis can do that Raijin can't. That Circle of Protection laid down inside the Odin ring is so potent, because no way for Raffer to get away from that guaranteed big burst of damage from Wolfie's ult. Adapting could have found a return kill there, but was a little bit off the mark with the Vampiric Bats onto Kalas. As soon as Adapting gets some items online, some penetration, he's going to be looking to play more aggressive in those sorts of scenarios. And once Maniac starts rotating, Raffer doesn't have to worry about that cage quite as much because of that Phantom.
Osiris, Odin. Another reason why I bet Isis was the pick no matter what. I'm telling you, I'm going to ask AJ later and be like, yo, Jackal, Isis the pick? He was like, we picked it 17 weeks ago. I knew they were going to play it. That's exactly what he sounds like, by the way.
You really know the Rival boys well. You do their impressions
I hung
flawlessly.
I hung out with them at Valencia in DreamHack. It was really fun. I was hanging out with Ice Baby. Wolfie in trouble, able to walk away. And, I was just asking him how his team got to be so successful. And he was like, well, we just kind of play really well. And Alpha Jackal, our coach, is pretty good. And Alpha Jackal was like, yeah, we're really good. We like to pick our own meta stuff, and that's how we do it. So Team Rival sticking to their own meta and sticking to their own high-level performances.
I didn't know that Alpha Jackal was from New York.
Oh, he's not?
Oh, that's how you talk whenever you...
Oh, no, that's just what he sounds like.
Typical New York guy accent that is very similar. I just got a little confused.
I think you're mixing me up with Ravens. Ice Baby in trouble, but walks right on out after he drops the ring, adapting the one, looking to turn things around on DW, but he's totally fine. It's all about the rotation, people. Yaman being brought down to a quarter of HP. Collis chasing. He's out. He's popped up. Nice save by Maniac on the right-hand side. Collis is forced to find a kill by himself, and he won't because he's just a tree man. Raffer now surrounded by Team Rival players. Meanwhile, right side tower, Maniac goes down for his efforts. Deathwalker on the good side of things. Ooh. And Ice Baby on the bad side, still getting out, but here's Raffer with the sprint.
Nice stun by Wolfie, forces out the beats from Emilito. Raffer's trying to handle Ice, but a perfect pull from Kalas takes Emilito away. He will find one, he'll find another onto Ice as well.
Emilito, fantastic rotation out of the Hunter. What a surprise, 2-0 and 0. And that's going to even up the world. Team Rival over there could have gotten that could have been a 4-0 engagement, but Emilito exists.
Really big. Just using that Jingwei passive that's so impactful in this early game to try and defend those right side buffs. And that's been such a focus for so many teams. And it's a big reason why Jingwei has really found her way back into the meta fairly quickly, even with early game pressure being important, that she can just be anywhere on the map very, very quickly. Now, Vogt does what he needs to do, which is push up that left-hand side, push a wave underneath that tower, try and invade the left, but nothing was up for NRG on the left-hand side. Everything was on cooldown, so can't invade the red, can't invade the purple. Perfectly timed rotation there from Emilito.
And that's what we've come to expect out of the defending world champion, Hunter. Just can't say enough about him. World's MVP at one point.
2-time world champion.
Just fantastic stuff. And really enjoy what we've been able to see out of Emilito so far. And this is the day. I think when you look at Emilito, and I hate sportsisms like this, Ryan. Emil's a winner.
Yeah, he does a lot of that.
But I mean, do you just and call me on it if you don't? Do you know what I mean by that?
I do. I think I don't know. Because usually that terminology is a guy who is in different positions and always seems to find up a way to end up on top.
Okay.
Emilito's been in the same position and has found himself up on top. And a lot of why NRG wins is because of Emilito. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if it's necessarily apples to apples.
For me, what I mean by that statement is it's an attitude thing. Is that Emil just doesn't lose. I don't think he's gonna he's not gonna be. Nobody's okay with losing, but I don't think Emil loses lightly, and I think he's sort of putting in that extra gear in this game. He knows, him and Adapting sort of know, like, listen, if we don't win both of these games, we don't go to super regionals. We got to deal with the gauntlet. There's a whole other conversation. I don't think these players do that. Like I don't get my sneakers dirty. We just don't do that, okay? And I think Adapting and Emilito totally come in here very, like, bougie, like, oh, we don't do that.
Missing lands? No, we don't.
Excuse me?
We don't do that.
Excuse me?
Do you know who we are?
We don't do that.
No way.
No how. No way. Really thinking about whether to continue there, weren't you?
No, I decided right away I wasn't going to continue that. I knew instantly.
I don't know about that one. Either way. I don't trust you, actually.
Wolfie leveling Spirit Ball after 3 points in Wingus. A little bit of an interesting decision from him. This is just to clear the wave more effectively with Wingust and then put points into the ability that you're going to be using more often than not in team fights. The biggest trap that a lot of ISIS players fall into when playing ISIS at a competitive level is using your Wingust, trying to hit all 4 parts of your Wingust onto an enemy god. If you chase someone down with Wingust in the middle of a team fight, you're probably dead because you just put yourself out of position. Good ISIS players use Wingust as a mobility tool in the middle of the team fights to reposition and get themselves in a better spot for their next Spirit Ball or for their next ultimate to try and get in a better spot, not to necessarily put out damage. Wolfie's just leveling Wind Gust so that he can clear the wave effectively. Then it's going to be Spirit Ball because that's the real team fight ability for Isis.
It's a team fight ability. It's what makes her extremely safe. And it does a slew of damage. Like, I don't know, unreasonable amount of damage, especially from a safe distance. So, Wolfie going to be maxing that one. Again, Spirit, Wind Gust might be interesting thought process for when it comes to Spear of the Magus, but because you're not hitting all of your Wind Gusts, it's deceptive. A lot of players look at it and go, oh, I should go Spear here, but you're not really hitting all those, and plus, even if you do, you're not getting that penetration off the top, so deceptive item indeed. Gold Fury brought down about half HP by Team Rival. Nice zone out from Ice Ice Baby. Yaman coming in from the right-hand side. This Gold Fury is going to Rival, but they're off to the races. Team NRG now looking for the
nice stun
fight after the fact. And adapting, gonna miss. Kala's still the target. Blinks away, and that's a nice look.
But Ice Ice Baby, now this baited everyone in from Rival. Wolfie has to use the Aegis because of a nice knockup from Emilito. Beautiful double stun, though, from Wolfie. Make sure that he can't continue the chase.
I don't know why they looped around. Team Rival got very lucky there that things did not go NRG's way. That loop around was very...
ill-advised.
There you go.
That's the word I'm going to use.
Because of it, NRG kind of wrapped around, but they get out no problem, they being Team Rival. And a very good look for them, since they were up by about 3K.
And this is the position they need to be in with this team, sort of team composition. And very similar to how Rival was treading water and staying where they needed to in Game 1 against NRG's early game composition. NRG doing the same here in Game 2, but the difference is that NRG's late game composition in this one compared to Rivals in Game 1 is much, much stronger.
Yeah.
NRG with the Soul, with the Kamazats, the RTO even in the later stages, the Jing Wei, so good in the late game. Rivals in Game 1 was better than NRG's, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't quite this potent. NRG's team composition wins late game against mid to late game comps. That's how good it is. But Rivals is all early game, across the board. The only player who's going to be relevant in the later stages is Vote on the Uller, and that's just because he's an ADC and building ADC items.
Very true. So what you're saying is you want to see Wolfie build Telkine, well, you want to see Wolfie build Hasten Ring now, right?
What? No. How could you ever hear what I said and interpret it that way?
You want some more ADCs on the board. So you want Wolfie to build Hasten Ring and attack speed, right?
No, I want Deathwalker to build Chin Size and Deathbringer.
Chin Size and Deathbringer don't really have any connectivity. Chin Size is going to augment an attack speed build, which is actually fantastic for Deathwalker and the Osiris, because he has all these like half-second attacks, which allow him to be that sort of chainsaw character. Deathbringer, you want to actually build on characters that have longer, steadier swings and support that with power outside of attack speed. So I don't think that build makes any sense there, Ryan.
Yes. Well, you've swayed me. I think Deathwalker should build like a tanky solo laner.
Hey, that's a plan. I don't mind the Chinsai at the end of the day. 6th item Chinsai, I wouldn't mind.
I like that Wolfie's going for Hide of the Urchin right away as this Isis, because Isis is going to be relying on her base damage more than anything else anyways. You're not losing a whole lot in terms of damage. Plus, with that Book of Thoth there, you're getting extra damage from Hide of the Urchin anyways because of that 250 mana that's on the item. It's not a lot, but it is a little bit of extra damage from building that Hide of the Urchin. So Wolfie now less vulnerable as soon as he completes that item, even less vulnerable now with the Armored Cloak, which is a very efficient tier 2. Now can kind of not maybe go in with those Wind Gust attacks and try and hit enemy gods with them instead of using it just to reposition.
I mean, I think that's... I still don't want Wolfie on my front lines, but yes, it does give him a little bit more tankiness for sure.
Resilience.
That actually, jokes aside, that actually is the word I was thinking for. Oh, it's like you finished the sandwiches right out of my mouth. NRG Esports looking for the objective here, but instead they're going to look for the fight. Blink forward by adapting. He gets caught up in the Wrath of Terror by Kalas, half HP. Oh, the Guardian! Great pull! But it's Raffer. Nobody looking at the Portal Demon instead. Looking to wrap around, taking the long way here is Yaman, but the circles on circles. Gonna bring Raffer down low, Wolfie down lower. Ice Ice Baby still in trouble. Maniac looks for the Odin, pushing him out of the conversation. NRG Esports still not looking at the objective. They've won this fight, but just barely, Ryan.
Oh, I love this cursed Ankh pickup from Raffer. That was such a big difference maker there because I was wondering where's the health from the Circle of Protection from Wolfie. That was a full charged ultimate and no one seemed to heal up. It's because Raffer picked up that anti-heal relic to make sure that that wasn't going to be the big health swing in Rival's favor. That relic pickup ends up keeping energy in that team fight. If Rival can resustain very quickly with that big burst heal and go back into that fight, Energy's in a ton of trouble. Instead, it was Rival who was on the run.
Exactly, and I think it's easy for Raffer's always the one to bring out the forgotten item and stuff like that. I think it's an easy play for Raffer to go for. Emilito getting aggressive, missing the axe is going to be Vote. Back-to-back basics, jump, and he's gone. Taunt him right back to base. Vote, the natural-born killer, putting Emilito in his place for the 4th kill for Team Rival.
Emil had Aegis there and could have tried to go for the outplay of the outplay, but just a little bit too slow on the reaction time. Vote with a really nice solo kill, and this opens up this Gold Fury nicely for Rival.
25% already done. Ultimate for Ice Ice Baby online, so expect the ring. Half HP here, Raffer, Yaman adapting in energy. Jerseys, local, and waiting. Oracles go to Team Rival, and they'll settle for that, walking away.
Vote just a little bit too low on mana and HP, plus Wolfie didn't have the ultimate there. Ice Ice did because of the inherent low cooldown on Ring of Spears, but Circle of Protection takes a little bit longer. So if Rival would have had that Isis ultimate, probably a full-on commit to that Gold Fury. But in that scenario, I like Rival deciding to just say, hey, let's get the Oracles, let's play it safe. We cannot afford to throw away this next Gold Fury because that would really even up the game for Energy, and that's exactly where they want it.
And something I want to bring up is as Wolfie's ultimate comes up right now, incredible discipline, because it's easy to say, guys, go for it. My ult's on a 3-second cooldown. But you're still going to lose it in those 3 seconds. So really, really intense discipline coming out from Team Rival right there. Energy sniffing people in the jungle, stun out Ice Ice Baby, but continue to walk away. Don't want to deal with that anytime soon. Maniac and Deathwalker just sort of dealing with each other here. 2 levels. Maniac Senior is DW.
I really like this build coming out from Raffer. I already touched on the Cursed Ankh Relic pickup, but this Oni's Hunter's Garb is such an undervalued item. It is bought fairly often, but man, this is so good for Guardians in the support role and in solo. Anytime you deal damage to an enemy god, you're going to be getting 20% damage mitigation for the next 5 seconds. So Raffer, who wants to dash into the middle of everyone and stun a bunch of people with the bear stun, gets 20% damage mitigation for the next 5 seconds. Maniac, who might want to dash in and find that lurking in the water setup, pull in the pluck. A lot of teams like to commit to the Sobek after he plucks in a tank or something like that.
Right.
20% damage mitigation if he picks it up. A really, really undervalued item.
Half HP on the Portal Demon already. Energy in the neighborhood. Maniac and Yaman on the front side and adapting, making the lap around the back. We're going to find somebody low, or even the objective very low. There's Wolfie on the end. Adapting comes through with the blink, and the Portal Demon's going to go to Team Rival. Now Adapting is the subject of Deathwalker's ire. He'll be knocked to the side as Collis, he's going to be in trouble. Maniac grabs him, flips it to the back, and Yaman puts a hole in him. Number 3 for NRG Esports. Ice Ice Baby's up next. He's all the junglers, and now it's going to be Osiris walking away, no problem. 2 dead on the side of Team Rival. Energy comes up big after losing the Portal Demon.
Love that team fight from Energy. That's textbook for them. Adapting blinks into the back line, causes a little bit of confusion. Rival commits to the Portal Demon and end up getting it. But as soon as Adapting gets turned on and everyone starts focusing on him, they immediately allow Maniac to go into the front side, and look at what Rival's going for here. They understand that Gold Fury is going to be going down. They immediately head toward this Fire Giant, but Energy sniffed it out very, very quickly.
This is, again, an Energy understanding sort of the playbook plays. This is so Energy. I love this move. Deathwalker half HP, stunned out from Vote though, and now Raffer in trouble. Maniac in trouble as well. Deathwalker getting hit by the Fire Giant. One more will do it, but he's gonna get out of there just barely. But the most important thing, if you're Energy or an Energy fan, the Fire Giant stays alive. Raffer, nobody cares.
And Gold Fury goes down for NRG. Emilito gets a tier 1 tower for NRG on the left-hand side. Completely worth it for them. Now they need to get back and recoup for this tier 1 tower defense. They do so nicely. And Kalas with that Lotus Crown for the Sylvanas. Not only does Wisp already give an extra 20 physical protection as it's healing you up, but Lotus Crown gives you some more physical protection. That ends up being the difference for Deathwalker escaping with very, very low HP from that Fire Giant damage.
Here's what I was talking about. NRG are the team that will go over and over specific circumstances and scenarios. That's how they've been successful. Talking about their practice regimen, and that was executed so cleanly that, you know, I haven't spoken to the guys about this set particular, but that's a scenario that I wouldn't doubt that they've talked over specifically, where the enemy team's going for a Portal Demon. That's 100 gold per player. It's really not that big of a deal at this point of the game if you're not using it for the Fire Giant. So NRG Esports take the team fight, prioritizing players over the objective there, because they can loop back to the Gold Fury, and then the Gold Fury's at half HP and players are already rotating because the enemy got the Portal Demon. The only one left is the Hunter, Emilito, who can tank it up with the Devo gloves, no problem. That was so precise and meticulous, Ryan, that they have practiced it before. It looks beautiful, and I think those types of exchanges, those types of sequences are what make NRG.
And just having that sort of mental acuity to be ready for these sorts of things in these big sets where your LAN life is on the line, a guaranteed spot at LAN. Remember, whoever loses this game isn't out of super regionals. They still can get there through the gauntlet, but it's a much harder path and would much rather have the better seeding and the better opportunity.
For sure. Raffer controlled here. Put the bear in the cage, but he walks right on out now. He's going to get flipped up, he being Deathwalker. And here's the dash from Kalas, but he misses. Only finds Maniac, who's in the ultimate. Immediate turnaround for the Lurking in the Waters. But NRG Esports just going to walk away. No big deal. I'm going to deal with it here. Team Rival 5-4 leading the kills, but everything all even as far as gold is concerned. Rival up about 1,000 if you want to get technical, 1,300 perhaps more precise, but at 22 minutes, almost 23, this game's all tied up.
Good communication there between Maniac and Raffer. Raffer's locked in the cage, no way to get out, and Maniac says, you just have to come to me.
Yeah.
I've got the Phantom that I can pop over the wall to get you out of the cage. That's a guaranteed kill for Rival without it.
Wolfie here, just clearing up some minions. Maniac lurking on the right-hand side, wants to find someone out of position. Won't be gifted that present. Adapting, lurking on the left side, wants to just find someone, full stop. Won't be gifted that just yet. Ice served up, and now it's Deathwalker trying to control the entire enemy team. Able to do so with Thorns and a couple of abilities. Big stun onto Maniac. He's taking damage. Maniac likely to fall here, surrounded by Team Rival members. Dash away is good. In the ultimate, not going to provide damage reduction, but the ultimate won't even confirm either.
No way. No way Maniac gets out of this. Finally falls, but look at what NRG did in mid. They just took the 2v3, and they're taking it over easily.
That's, again, you talk to a support player when they die for an objective, and they're sitting there on their deathbed, their timeout screen, just saying, haha, I did my job. Two players chased out a 1 HP Sobek while his team picks up a tower and a half. Maniac is sitting there screaming in Portuguese, going, haha, I did my job. No big deal, comrade.
Man, that's a lot to commit to that Sobek, and it's tough to let that go for Rival. You think that, all it takes is 2 shots of Wind Gust. Well, Wolfie missed a shot of Wind Gust, and then, I'll just drop Circle of Protection, then we can go back to the team fight. Even by that time, it's too late for Rival to get to where NRG had pushed up and pushed the rest of Rival back too. Just 1 kill onto a tanky solo Sobek is important, but it's not so important that you can lose multiple members for it and an objective on top of that. That's map pressure that Rival has now lost. That opens up NRG to go this Portal Demon, and it's 1 less escape route that Rival has. And that's especially important for gods like Sylvanas and Isis, who are going to get jumped on by NRG. We've seen them do it already.
Whew. Raffer barely stepping out of that one.
Because he's a bear. Oh, nice.
I didn't even mean it that way. It just meant like he just barely got out of there.
Oh, well, then you should have. No, that's where you take credit. That was funny and clever. And well, frankly, you don't get many of those. So you want to.
Wow. I, again, can't miss these. Ice Ice Baby getting knocked up, controlled. Thorns popped a little bit early, I think. The Odin stepping outside. Emilito pretty low, however. Backside, safe and sound. Deathwalker in trouble, but the Odin Ring already gone. The pop out of Wolfie gone as well. 3 ultimates already off the table. Vote doesn't even have one. NRG Esports now looking for the turnaround. Wolfie in the Aegis.
Oh, the sprint gets him out for the moment. Maniac can't quite close the gap with that charge prey. Big damage coming out of Yaman as well with that Stellar Burst. But a beautiful stun by Wolfie sets it up for Maniac to fall.
Vote out of control. Basically a double kill in this team fight. Kills get awarded other places, but Vote does all of the damage and just keeps everybody at bay with that Uller bow. Very low, our team rival. And all they have is Colos's Wisps, but they're going to take this as a commit to the Portal Demon. This could be dangerous. Yaman caught out, still looking for it. Portal Demon confirmed. Ice Baby in trouble, jumps over the wall. 3 versus 5, but the 5 are low. Adapting's even lower. Silenced out, can't get over the wall. Body blocked, finally now does jump away from one, but meets the other. Deathwalker with the end cap on that performance, and 26.5. Team Rival wins the last 2 team fights and find themselves eking close to a lead.
And with adapting down for 35 seconds plus, Rival could even come through this portal and look at Fire Giant. Wolfie's ultimate should be up fairly soon. Doesn't have any CDR in that kit, but over 3/4 of the way there, they're going right for it.
Yeah, I think this is the right call. I think you just straight push this, force NRG to show up. Portal Demon is actually doing its job here. And they're going to give the players that finished it a good look. Ice Baby with the moves, but the ultimate coming out from Isis. And it's all Team Rival. Wolfie gets the last hit thanks to that ultimate. And now Yaman in trouble. Disperse is good, but he gets grabbed anyway. Now looking to turn around on the support. Kalas half HP. Maniac not going to go for it. And that be that. Emilito on the Gold Fury. Relevant. Good move. Not going to win the Fire Giant fight. I like the call.
That just a little bit too much focus onto Raffer from Rival. Yaman had already used his Disapparate. Yes, he had both relics available, but as soon as Soul uses uses that Disapparate, a lot of her survivability goes right out the window. Yeah. I think I'd like to see Rival stick to what Kalas was looking for there and chase down NRG's mid laner. Doesn't end up losing them a whole lot, just more potential pressure.
So the momentum certainly in the wings and the sails of Team Rival right now, but by no means is a single Fire Giant grounds to just win the game. I think that this is still an extremely, extremely close game despite the Fire Giant. A lot of times we see Fire Giant as just sort of like, well, when are they going to win? Because they're going to win. But at this point, with these teams and at this game particularly, I don't think Fire Giant is indicative of who gets the victory here.
No, I don't think so either, but it will make it a lot easier for Rival because they have a couple power items just completed with this Fire Giant buff, and there's a lot of towers left on the map, which really just turns into gold for them to spend.
The Tier 1 towers are going to be wiped out here, and I'm not really concerned about Tier 1. You're looking at 510, 1,500 gold, right? And I believe the Tier 1 tower in the right side was already down, so it's just about 1,000 gold here that you're getting for Team Rival. These Tier 2s, I think, are problematic, and NRG, very rarely do you defend a Tier 2. I think this is the scenario that you want to defend that Tier 2.
I agree. I like this NRG, at least making Rival earn it, as there's the blinking from Kalas, 3-man knockup with that Wrath of Terra. Nice cage. Locks in Maniac, but he did have the Phantom Circle of Protection, not doing anything for Rival.
And it's going to ding NRG a little bit. Look at Adapting, though. Full HP. He's going to catch him around the corner. Or maybe he'll get caught himself. Still on the chase is NRG, trying to slow him down. Rival.
Nice silence.
Yeah. That silence on a Raffer will basically stop the entire chase.
Silence just destroys RTO. Anything that interrupts the very many channeled things she brings. I mean, Bear Stance swipe channeled in 2 parts, so you can interrupt that very easily with either silence or the stun from Isis. That root. The dash as well, we saw Raffer get caught with that earlier on because of Wolfie's CC. This Isis CC, another big reason why it may have been picked instead of the Raijin, even if it was open, because that interruptible CC against Raffer. Now, NRG did lose their Tier 2, but didn't lose anyone in response. They did have to use the Phantom, though, so Maniac needs to be careful, and the rest of NRG need to be careful that they don't get caught in that Odin cage for the next 85 seconds. Rival is going to put the pressure on in that time.
And it's 85 seconds that I want to bring up. Yes, it's a long time, but it's certainly it's a lot shorter than it could have been. And NRG don't defend their tier 2 tower, but they eat up a lot of that Fire Giant time. That's kind of why I pointed at this is why it's time to defend your tier 2s, because you want to eat away at this Fire Giant buff on the opposition, whether it's by raw kills or just by sort of occupying their time. Tier 1 goes down to the left, and it looks like NRG are just going to sort of, all right, we get it. You get the tier 2s now. But they put up that fight, and here on the right side, this Fire Giant might fall off mid-fight. So that's why we're going to see NRG one more time look for the defense on the right side.
But man, they need to be so careful, because if Ice Baby finds a priority target in that cage, could be quickly game over for NRG and their chance at a guaranteed Super Regionals. But
there's a sprint, and that's going to be the move forward as everybody gets caught up in Colos's nonsense. He gets knocked up himself, and players trying to stay in the middle of the circle of protection. But it's Raffer forced out of the left-hand side. Deathwalker looking forward. Yaman low, Emo low. Nice pull onto Maniac. He himself is low. Jumped on top by Ice Baby. But NRG Esports not going to let players on their Phoenix just yet. All 3 towers of the tier 2 side down. All 3 towers of the tier 1 variety down as well. Fire Giant, however, has fallen off of Team Rival. Still find themselves up 6,000 gold.
And Adapting just has not been able to make an impact to this game at all. I mean, he's got less damage than Kalas does on the Sylvanas. The Camazot's pick just hasn't worked out thus far for NRG. He's not even there in that last engagement because he knows he can't get into the thick of things without getting blown up very quickly.
Is it a selection thing or is it a performance thing?
In my mind, a little bit of both. I still think that anytime that NRG's in a game-clinching situation, I want Adapting on Thor. I want him on that character. Now, in this particular draft, it would have been into Isis, and that's a really horrible matchup for Thor, who gets all of his damage interrupted very easily by Isis. So Camazot's probably ends up being the better pick overall, but it just has not been the performance that NRG need out of their jungler.
You know, and I know I'm going to get memed for this because of, like, who I am, but Fire Giant going to NRG is a big deal, actually.
Rival just...
That's a really big deal. Team Rival, you know...
Too slow.
You sort of zone out there. I thought Rival was just doing the Fire Giant. I apologize, fans. You deserve a little bit more than that. It just looked so... NRG just doing it so matter-of-factly. I assumed it was Rival because they've had the upper hand.
Well, it hasn't stopped Rival from going for the mid-Phoenix, at least posturing like they wanted. Yemen did expend the ultimate there to confirm the Fire Giant, so that is a big damage off the table.
The Portal Demon was there!
Portal Demon was there, but no ward coverage meant that they didn't want to come in.
Oy vey. Still, not enough to stop the onslaught of Team Rival, as you mentioned, but the Fire Giant, a big deal. Voden Buchanan then cares. He takes down Maniac, 4 on 5 so far. Wolfie relatively low. There's Adapting, making his move. Kill number 3, and the one that's going to make a big deal. Yaman pulled, Beads out. Got to get out of there. Raffer low. Can't defend so hard, and players need to heal up and try one more time.
Amelito's still very healthy, though, and Yemen's ultimate's going to be up
Raffer,
pretty soon. Raffer needs to get back to base. He's too low to continue to fight, but look at what Emo's putting out. A lot of crits.
Adapting as well. Maybe not the crits, but the long-range damage certainly helping. Deathwalker on the retreat. Kalas is gone. And there's the sprint to NRG Esports. On the offensive. Down 6,000. Not willing to let this go without a fight. Picking up the Fire Giant.
Really just testing Rival. Are they going to come through that portal? We'll take the fight there. That could have been a really good fight for Rival if everyone was on the same page, but not everyone had backed at the same time. Some people had cleaned up some buffs, you know, whatever it may be on that right-hand side. So now you've got delayed timers, and you can't afford to walk in 1v1, even down, you know, even when you're up by 4,000 or 5,000 gold, you can't go in 2v5 against a team like NRG. NRG take advantage.
Well, it's NRG taking the Gold Fury. I knew that wasn't Rival that time. The question I was going to ask was, I really like Thanatos in this matchup. Adapting has played Thanatos a handful of times, similar to Thor, the semi-global.
I don't like Thanatos into a composition like this because I know that Thanatos isn't get a lead early or become useless, as the previous sort of stigma around him was. But you still do want
You don't have that
early.
late game.
And there is just no chance you get pressure against Osiris, Odin, Isis, Sylvanas. It's just not possible.
You silence out the Wind Gust every time.
It doesn't matter. You're still getting hit by Spirit Ball and setting up for damage out of Odin, who's going to one-shot you because of your low base health. The Bird Bomb does so much. You're stuck in that Odin cage unless you have your ultimate. So if you use it to initiate, you get locked in, and then you need Phantom for Maniac. I understand where you're thinking the Thanatos into the Isis in particular, but it's never just Isis.
No,
it's everyone else.
I like the Isis and Osiris matchup. The Odin, on the other hand, definitely something to think about here. Team Rival now on the defensive foot. They've got about 50 seconds left to Fire Giant to deal with on the NRG's side, so we'll see how this one turns out as their Tier 2 towers are under assault now. Adapting, not looking for the flank, though he is in the jungle, more of a offensive, pure offensive. Now he's going, okay, still biding his time. Trying to figure out what the call is here. Raffer just easing forward. No real hard initiation coming out from Raffer. The way that Rathaterra will work. Maniac already half HP. Brought very low. Might die here. Jumped with the dash away. Saves the life of the solo later. Ice Baby gonna wrap around and be controlled there. Nice cripple, keeping him right in the center. And NRG Esports still continuing. Beautiful uppercut coming out from Amelito. Finishes off Collis, and that's a Tier 2 tower.
Adapting still, looking to force all of Rival back. They give up their Tier 2, but Fire Giant's about to fall off in 5 seconds. That means Maniac has no real sustain, only has the heal from Sickening Strike. Raffer's very low as well. NRG gonna have to back up. They can't get this left side Phoenix.
This is absolutely the type of game I expected in this game too. Specifically between these two teams. Fire Giant is enough to maybe get us a Tier 2 tower. That's the type of talent you're talking about. That's the type of just gameplay you're talking about. Again, this is that game where people always bring up the, sports or competitive gaming is X amount of skill, X amount of mental fortitude. And well, yeah, this is the one where your ability to keep a steady head is just as important as your ability to hit all those keys.
I love Wolfie's build that he's going for now, looking for that Rod of Asclepius in that last item slot. Gives him some health, gives him some extra movement speed, and that means that everyone's going to be healed more from Circle of Protection as well as himself from those wisps coming out of Kalas. So really smart pickup from Wolfie, amping up that healing, but also giving himself some more of that survivability.
NRG, Fire Giant, free or no?
No, I think I can test this at least a little bit if I'm Rival. I don't want to give this one up for free.
Well, right now, NRG starting the party. 50%, a little bit above that. Now it's Ice that's being collapsed on. Ring already used, and Raffer going to be dancing in it. Trouble as
Raffer's
everything
dead.
popped, and he's gone. Vote with the last hit, taking down the support player. Ice Baby on the run. Deathwalker from the back end, trying to deal with the Hunter, who's trying to deal with him. Ultimate's going to save the life of Emelito, but it's Ice Baby taking down Maniac, a 3v5 for a long, long time, at least 40 seconds. And that Fire Giant belongs to Team Rival.
Rival want to take that fight every time because Phantom was on cooldown for Maniac, and as soon as Raffer got locked in that cage and as soon as Wolfie dropped the Circle of Protection, NRG needs to just jump in there and try and find a way to put pressure onto Wolfie, but with how good that positioning from the Odin cage was, there's no chance of that happening for NRG. Raffer gets sacrificed without doing anything in that engagement because he got locked in that cage and no one could step up and support him. And Rival find Maniac on the backside as well, so all the damage dealers from NRG have to fall back.
Team Rival now in the driver's seat, to put it lightly, and still just 3,000 gold separate our teams. Again, gold pretty much not as relevant as it once was, but definitely representative of how these teams fight back and forth, even into the late game.
Ooh.
Emo gets half health by Wolfie's long-range Spirit Ball. Maniac will spawn in about 3 seconds, and he is a very big part of Team Rival's defense. So with the right side Phoenix down for the count, Team Rival regrouping now. The long way, they're going to go all the way back to base, make what could be their final purchases, and then head back up the lanes. They'll be dealing with an NRG Esports in full, though. All 5 members ready to play D.
Emelito does have upgraded purification beads, so 30 seconds off of that typical 160-second cooldown, so not quite as long before those beads will be back up. Should be nearly ready by the time Rival are ready to push in one of these waves because of how far pushed back all the minions' waves are on the Rival side of the map. It still has to be wary of how much damage that Spirit Ball is going to do at this stage. Now with Wolfie having that Fire Giant buff and finishing off that last item, Rod of Asclepius, that's even more damage. Instead of that 800 plus that he got hit by, it might be 900. And if he's more than, 2/3 HP, It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's not a good look to be hit by that spirit ball all the way in the back line, and in the craziness that is combat can be difficult to keep track of. So Team Rival now, again, like we said, on the offensive here. As we ding past 40 minutes, this one is for most of the marbles. You're not out if you lose here, but you certainly have a clean way, as we said, avoiding the gauntlet and just getting right into Super Regionals. That's the Uptown train. You don't want to take that one train. That's not what you want.
Now, every time NRG has had Phantom available, as Maniac does now, they've had a pretty good team fight. So if Ice Baby can't find the right targets, and even if he can, Maniac just needs to be close enough to throw down that Phantom and get NRG out of the cage.
Well, there's Deathwalker leading the charge, get flipped out to the backside. Emilito trying to deal with the tanky solo laner, but already his teammates are hurting. Maniac's low and Emilito's half HP. Raffer's low as well, and the circles are already dropped. NRG Esports have a great defensive set here. Now they're looking for the offensive move, adapting all the way to the front line, using that ultimate. Wolfie one shot, Wolfie two shot, but the retreat from the jungler as he gets jumped on by DW.
Adapting very low. Deathwalker looks to finish him off, but it's going to be Ice Baby up and over the top, putting down Adapting.
And they're continuing the onslaught on the left-hand side. Adapting's down. NRG had a fantastic defensive stop for the moment, but Team Rival able to chase back the chasers, if you will. And Team Rival take their 5 players and move on to the mid lane. Defending without the Camazotz, not exactly a huge deal. NRG should have a pretty strong spot at defending here.
But no ultimate for Yemen, who gets pulled back in by Kalos, and Wolfie's going to finish him off. That might do it for NRG's auto bid into Super Regionals.
That's got to be game here. Jumping right on top of the Titan, half HP already. Emil trying to do what he can by taking care of Vote, but Kalos turns to the Hunter, and everyone turns to the Titan.